Part 54. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 532. This sentence made the assistant behind Li Huiyu a little unhappy. She felt that her customers were just too kind. Where are these young actors so high-minded? She doesn't even mind. What made her even more unhappy was yet to come. Jin Li said lightly, "Thank you, I don't need the script. If I have time, I will visit your house." Li Huiyu laughed, "Okay, then I'll wait for you at home." She looked at the time as she spoke, "It's getting late, I'll go back first. Goodbye." Watching Li Huiyu leave, Su Hexiang glanced at her back, and asked suspiciously, "Jin Li, is there any festival between you and Teacher Li?" Jin Li thought for a while, "That's right." Su Hexiang sighed, "Ms. Li has a good temper, but it's nothing. You'd better restrain your temper in the future. These old seniors are well-mannered, and they also have some pennies. Beware of being put on small shoes." Jin Li smiled, "Okay, I know." Asterisk. On the other side, Li Huiyu's car. The assistant said angrily, "You're just too good-tempered. Look at that Jin Li, how majestic is he? He doesn't know how to respect seniors at all." Li Huiyu smiled, "Oh, you are not too young, why are you still angry with a young girl? You have a bit of a temper and vigor, which is more in line with her age." The assistant was helpless, "Oh, you are really a Buddha." Li Huiyu smiled, but did not speak. She leaned on the back of the seat, only a small dim light was turned on in the carriage, and it fell on her face, which was stunningly beautiful. The assistant was stunned for a moment, and couldn't help but murmured, "It's true that good people are rewarded, you are really a beauty favored by time. It is different from other people who rely on medical beauty technology to maintain youth. Li Huiyu's beauty is that kind of pure natural beauty, without any trace of artificial carving." Li Huiyu touched her face and smiled meaningfully, "I also feel that God cares for me." Asterisk. Jin Li and Su Hexiang went back to the Su's house together. Because it was late, Su Hexiang was worried about letting Jin Li go home alone. She simply has her own room in Su's house, and her daily necessities are always on hand, so it doesn't matter where she goes. In the evening, after Jin Li washed and lay on the bed, she contacted Ying Qian on WeChat. "Jin Li, are you asleep? There is a big discovery. There is a quick return." Ying Qian, "No, I'm playing games, what did you find?" "Jin Li, do you still remember the slave spirits we caught when we first met? A slave spirit, also called a slave ghost, is a soul that is driven by human actions after death." Ying Qian, remember. "Jin Li, I found the person who stole someone's beauty today. Ying Qian, who is it? How did you recognize it? I can't see any connection between the slave spirits and their owners at all." Jin Li Xian said, "Who am I? I am a little fairy. If you can't see this, isn't it ruining my reputation in the heavenly realm?" "Jin Li, I won't talk about it yet. I'll tell you when I visit her house and find the evidence." "Jin Li, besides, it's already this time, why aren't you sleeping? No more face? Beware of getting old." I'm not afraid of staying up late at all while taking beauty pills and pills for staying up late. Ah! Stop talking, I was killed. MMP, wait for me to kill this bastard." Jin Li. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 533. She said to Ying Qian in her heart, "Then you can continue playing games. The little fairy is going to bed." In fact, as Jin Li, she didn't need any so-called beauty sleep. Immortality and immortality are the most basic characteristics of immortals. Even if those immortals who ascended did not survive the 5 declines of heaven and man, they were still beautiful when they emerged, and there was no aging at all. But is the little fairy the kind of superficial little fairy? Beauty is an attitude towards life. She fell asleep happily. Then the next morning, she received a call from Lu Jianzhen. Jinli, I chatted with some of my old friends, and they all like you, Lu Jianzhen said with a smile. Jinli also reacted, thinking, why did my sister's friend like me? Then she remembered, oh, the endorsement thing. She rubbed her eyes to dispel her drowsiness. Huh? How do you say that? Lu Jianzhen began to balabala, introduced to her the welfare conditions offered by each family. Jinli quickly remembered in her mind that although she didn't understand it very well, she could analyze it. This treatment should be considered very generous. Presumably Lu Jianzhen put in a lot of effort in the middle. Especially K.D, with a particularly enthusiastic attitude. Lu Jianzhen smiled and said, that's because their designers saw you wearing your beloved stars. They agreed that you can best interpret the charm of their jewelry, and no woman can resist this charm. Asterisk. Jinli called Sister Qing, and with her strong memory ability, repeated everything that Lu Jianzhen said to Sister Qing. Poor Sister Qing was going crazy with excitement. Are you serious? She confirmed again and again. Jinli nodded, it should be true. My sister said that the interested companies will contact you soon. Sister Qing nodded, okay. Jinli changed her clothes and got up, and after eating a loving breakfast made by Sue's mother, she received a call. It's an unknown number. Hello. There was a very nice female voice on the other side of the phone. Excuse me, is this Miss Jinli? I'm Sue Mooking. I want to make an appointment to meet you. Jinli. Who are you? She asked. Opposite. I am, according to the news, the woman who is going to marry Mr. Lu. Asterisk. Jinli sat on a chair, resting her chin and looking at the woman across from her. She is very pretty. The woman on the opposite side was also looking at her. You asked me here, what's the matter? Jinli asked. When she said these words, I'll give you 30 million, leave Lu Zhenjia, and I'm the satisfied daughter-in-law of the Lu family, leave Lu Zhenjia as soon as you have some face in her mind. Waiting for a strange plot. Jinli. She felt that her brain might be broken. Continue to look at the Su Mooking. Lu Zhenjia's family background is a good match, and he is also good looking. Although he is much worse than Lu Zhenjia, he is still good looking among human beings. Jinli's thoughts drifted away, she was very absent-minded, and felt a little inexplicably bored. Su Mooking. In less than 5 minutes since the two met, the woman opposite her had been distracted several times. She sighed helplessly, Miss Jinli. Jinli looked back at her with blinking eyes, huh. Su Mooking finally knew what is called deer-like eyes in reality. Who can stand this TM? She said sincerely, actually, I didn't have any malicious intentions when I asked you out. I just wanted to see what the girl Lu Zhenjia likes, that lonely, straight man, looks like. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 534. Jinli. Su Mooking continued, I originally thought the media was exaggerating, but now that I see you in person, I think it's totally normal for Lu Zhenjia to be attracted to a straight man. I, a straight woman, can't stand it. Jinli. Miss, you exude an elegant and intellectual ladylike atmosphere, why is your speaking style so inappropriate? But it's nice to compliment her. She asked a little strangely, don't you like Lu Zhenjia? I read on the news that you met twice and had a great conversation. Su Mooking snorted and smiled, the mouth of the media is a deceitful ghost. You are a person in the entertainment industry, don't you know? Jinli was convinced, it makes sense. At this time, the waiter came to bring the menu. She obviously recognized Jinli and Su Muking, and she knew some gossip about the wealthy families, so she glanced at them curiously. Of course, with the quality of a waiter in a high-end restaurant, she won't show any superfluous expressions. I don't know what to think in her heart. Su Muking said generously, I've made a meal here today, so you can order whatever you want. Like a rich man who wants to be his daughter. Waiter. What about the grievances that were agreed between the rich and powerful families? In my heart, I have even prepared the melon seeds on the bench, so you just show me this? No, it's definitely not that simple, she told herself in her heart. Perhaps, the play has not yet begun. Maybe the eldest lady will use the time to order food to suppress the little star, mock the other party for being poor, and essentially suppress the other party. Jinli looked at the menu in foreign language curiously, and said sincerely, I'm sorry, I don't understand this. Coming. The waiter was excited, standard face slapping. She even thought out the lines of the eldest lady. Heh, this is the kind of occasion Lu Zhenjia and I usually go in and out of. If you don't even understand the menu, even if you follow Lu Zhenjia, won't you be ridiculed? But the reality is. Ah, I'm sorry. Su Muking thought of the miserable life experience of the girl in front of her, and apologized, it's because I didn't think carefully. She quickly took the menu, read out the name of the dish, explained in a low voice what it was and what ingredients it was made of, and asked Jinli's opinion. Jinli didn't feel overwhelmed either, and ordered a lot of dishes according to her hobbies. Waiter. She took the ordered menu and left with a heart full of shock. Sure enough, the rich and powerful TV dramas are all lies. When the food was served, the waiter saw that the eldest lady was holding the little star's hand and talking earnestly. Waiter. So the real script turned out to be that the legendary fiancé couple fell in love with the same star? Stimulate. Sure enough, wealthy families can play. Of course, the truth is that Su Muking held Jinli's hand enviously and asked her how she took care of her skin so that she could be so flamboyant. Jinli listened to Su Muking's chat and glanced at the waiter inexplicably. Under normal circumstances, if she didn't listen deliberately, she could only feel the likes and dislikes of ordinary people towards her. But there are special cases. For example, when the other party is particularly emotional, she can perceive the other party's emotions more clearly, and even hear the sound of the heart. The waiter, who looks like a dog, has been thinking about something weird since he brought the menu. Human beings are really incomprehensible to fish. 4 more. See you in the afternoon. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 535. Jinli and Su Muking had a meal alone. Then, the other party repeatedly assured Jinli not to worry. Lu Zhenjia doesn't like me, and I don't like him either, said the ship tycoon's daughter. After dinner, the relationship between the two of them was not good enough to go shopping and have a spa together, so they broke up. Jinli returned home. Lan Ting leaned over with a wow and told Jinli that you were on the trending list again. Jinli felt that eating this was as easy as eating. She asked calmly, what's the reason? Lan Ting stretched out her hand, 2 things. Jinli. She turns on the phone. The first hashtag Jinli show off wealth hashtag. The next day hashtag Jinli and ship king daughter have lunch hashtag. Jinli. She really admires these paparazzi. Forget about the first one, she took out those gem beads in full view, and there was a camera at the scene, so it's not surprising that it was reported. But how long has she been eating with Su Muking? She just drove back from the restaurant. In less than an hour, not only was it photographed and posted on the news, but it was also trending. The first hot searched photo was Jinli taking out a large handful of shiny beads from her bag and putting them into Ms. Chen's hands. The accompanying text was what Jinli said at the time, and Mrs. Chen personally testified that these are gemstones of excellent quality. The comments below are pretty much the same. Acid. Lemon. Envy. The hobbies of rich people, I can't imagine. I also like beautiful shiny beads, but I can only play with glass beads. Sorry to say goodbye. I'm so inflated, I dare to click into such a hot search. Even the sunspot seemed shocked by Jinli's aggressive behavior and dared not speak. Jinli looked at the comments of the sand sculpture netizens and found it very interesting. She clicked on the next trending search. This one is less benign. The accompanying picture is a photo of her and Su Muking sitting in the viewing position and eating together. The text description is more scheming, emphasizing the current relationship between Su Muking and Lu Zhenjie, as well as the entanglement between Lu Zhenjie and Jinli, with the intention of creating a relationship between the future wife and Bai Yueguang. Obviously, this Weibo was posted earlier than the previous one. The popular comments below, many of which are: "This is, the eldest lady is giving Jinli a blow? Is this the Ship King's daughter? It's pretty. Tell me, will there be a classic rich scene between the two? Missy throws out $1 million check and asks Jinli to leave Lu Zhenjie, etc. He is obviously a celebrity. I have already said that, what kind of family is the Lu family? How could it be possible for a celebrity to enter?" However, such comments can only be seen in the hot spots. Because the latest comments are all: "Ha ha ha ha, I want to ask Miss, can you hit people with gemstones? Jinli, your 1 million is not enough for my 2 beads." Can't help but make up the story of the eldest lady throwing out the check, and Jinli's backhand is a gem bar to go back. "Ship King's daughter, I thought it was a bronze, but I didn't expect it to be a king." The netizens who made the latest comments obviously followed from the first trending search. Although they didn't know where Jinli's gems came from. But someone who can grab a handful of priceless gems at will obviously doesn't need to be a so-called rich man. But everyone was still curious about what Jinli and Su Muking talked about. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 536. Lan Ting was also curious. What makes her happier than netizens is that she can ask at any time. And Jinli was always honest with the people around him. Hearing Lan Ting's question, she replied, "We just had a meal, and we didn't talk about anything." Lan Ting: "I didn't talk about anything, are you sure?" She didn't believe it. Jinli thought about it for a while and nodded, "I really didn't talk." "But, she's not, Papa Luz." Jinli gave her a blank look, and repeated what Su Muking said to herself for Lan Ting, "Do you also believe those gossip reports? The mouth of the media is a deceitful ghost." Lan Ting. She is now a Lan Ting who is not easy to deal with. She grasped the point keenly, but, if what the media says is all false, why does she want to meet with you? Jinli: "Oh, she just wants to see me." Lan Ting. She didn't give up, no more. Jinli spread her hands, "It's gone." The fact that Su Muking and Lu Zhenjie didn't see eye to eye with each other was their private matter, so of course she couldn't use it as a topic of conversation. Lan Ting was a little suspicious of her life and left. Jinli looked at her back and thought that the girl was probably thinking in her heart, "This is different from what I imagined." She smiled lightly and said nothing. Sister Qing called her and said that she had already started contacting the brand owner. Jinli thought about it and decided it was time to do something serious. She took a business card out of her pocket. It was given to her by Li Huiyu that night. It is said that it is her personal business card, which is not easily given to anyone. Jinli guessed, the person who refused to give it so easily was probably someone who wasn't pretty enough. Jinli called the number on it. Li Huiyu was playing a piece of music with a somewhat dark tune. She seemed very happy to receive Jinli's call. He was even happier when he heard that Jinli was going to visit him. "When are you coming?" Li Huiyu tried hard to control her tone, looking less eager. When she was talking, all she could think about was that night, when she looked at Jinli up close, her flawless and beautiful face, but her youthful aura. There was a hint of longing in her eyes. Jinli cooperated with her very much. See when you have time. Li Huiyu quickly said, are you free tomorrow afternoon? Of course there are. Jinli answered in the affirmative. Li Huiyu seemed very happy, and she asked some questions, such as what Jinli likes to eat, is there any taboo, etc., like a very considerate senior. If Jinli was just a new star who didn't know anything at this moment, he would probably be really flattered and grateful to Li Huiyu. Asterisk. The next day. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Jinli arrived at the address Li Huiyu told her. Unlike many star properties located in lively urban areas, Li Huiyu's villa is located in the outskirts of the imperial capital, and it is a relatively remote location. However, the environment is very good, and the location of each villa is a bit far away, so everyone will not disturb each other. Many people have seen some photos posted by Li Huiyu, and praised her for being indifferent and a model in the circle. Jinli sensed the villa in front of her, and said to herself, the real reason, probably, is that this place is more suitable for hiding some secrets, right? She went to the gate covered with green vines and rang the bell. 6 Update, there is no update today, and there is no update in the early morning, so don't wait. I have a headache and a low-grade fever. I'll go to bed early. If I feel better tomorrow, there will be more. In addition, the book review area is under maintenance and upgrade, and comments cannot be posted. It is said that it will last until the 6th, don't worry about it. Good night. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 537. Li Huiyu came very quickly. Today she wore a water green long dress, a beige shawl, and her long hair was coiled up, very gentle and charming. No matter how you look at it, the person in front of him only looks like 30 people. Jinli stared at her. Li Huiyu felt her gaze and asked, what is Jinli looking at? Jinli smiled, you are very young and beautiful. She doesn't seem to have the respect that younger generations have for seniors towards Li Huiyu. Li Huiyu didn't seem to care about this either. She touched her face happily, really? Jinli nodded. She took Jinli into the room. After entering, Jinli realized that the decoration of the house was in a Japanese style. The fresh and elegant colors are very similar to Li Huiyu's. At the foot of the room is a half-person high azure glazed porcelain vase, with a few fresh lilies inserted in it. Li Huiyu personally brought Jinli a fruit plate and tea. Jinli looked at her and asked, are you alone at home? Li Huiyu smiled, basically yes, I take care of this house myself, but I will ask someone to clean it thoroughly after a while. Jinli nodded in understanding. She scanned the whole room and said, you have very good taste. Li Huiyu just laughed. She said, I'm very glad, Jinli, that you can come to my place. The two started chatting. Jinli realized that despite what he knew, Li Huiyu was really a perfect woman. She has good taste, keeps a house, knows how to live, and seems to be able to take care of everything in order. She is knowledgeable, understanding, and good at leading topics, and chatting with her is a very enjoyable thing. She has no pretensions, and treats her juniors very kindly and tolerantly. The advantages seem to be endless. In short, Jinli understood why she was rated so highly in the circle. When she glanced at the time, she had already chatted with Li Huiyu for nearly 2 hours. Not only her, Li Huiyu was a little surprised. She is an elder who is very good at analyzing people's hearts. In her life, many times when she chatted with young actors in this circle, she occupied a dominant position. Usually, she can guide the other party to talk about what she wants to talk about. From start to finish, she was in control of everything going on. But Jinli was different. Li Huiyu had studied Jinli. Her evaluation of Jinli was, she was born in a humble beginning, was lucky, and intelligent, but this intelligence was limited to her status, so it was not worth her vigilance. But after the real chat, the reality is not like this at all. Jinli was a person who was difficult to be influenced by others. She has her own views on things and rarely changes them because of others. For 2 hours, Li Huiyu spent more energy than on other people. What surprised her the most was that after 2 hours, she still couldn't fully dissect Jinli and her characteristics. This is very rare. And this rarity made her feel a little uneasy. Maybe she was too anxious. But there is no way. With her right hand hidden under the table, Li Huiyu gently held the wrist of her left hand. There was smooth and delicate skin. Her fingertips moved up slowly, touching the part covered by the sleeve. There is a rough and loose touch, these skins have begun to show signs of aging. Seeing Jinli's movements, Li Huiyu chuckled softly and said, "Ah, look at me, we hit it off right away, lost track of time, and almost forgot about serious business. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess." Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 538. She got up, took out a box, and pushed it to Jinli's side. "These are some of the scripts I've been exposed to recently. There are a few good ones, and there are characters in them that suit you very well." Li Huiyu looked at Jinli with a smile. "Take a look at it slowly, and I'll make you dinner." Jinli tilted her head to look at her. "Really clever. First, he chatted with you, showing his profound knowledge and extraordinary insights, and then stamped the label of hitting it off. Many young actors themselves are flattered, and after another round of this, the psychological defense will collapse a lot. Then use the script to hook people. Under normal circumstances, at this moment, even if she knew it was time to go back, she would be reluctant to part with these good scripts and opportunities. So, what's next?" Jinli was very cooperative. "Okay." Li Huiyu smiled warmly at her, got up and left. Jinli had reason to believe that there was something hidden somewhere in this room, and her every move should not escape Li Huiyu's eyes. She picked up a script and read it. The script is indeed a good script, and the characters are indeed good characters. Jinli looked at the script and thought of some rumors about Li Huiyu in her mind. She had a good network in the circle, she could often get some good scripts, and she liked to support the younger generation. After counting them down, many of the most popular florets in the circle have all been favored by Li Huiyu. They are very grateful to the senior until now. Li Huiyu's generosity is really generous. She never suppressed these newcomers, and even tried her best to help them go up. But, do they really know what price they paid for themselves? Jinli used a trick to deceive others. In the eyes of others, she was concentrating on reading the script, but in fact, her consciousness had entered the sea of consciousness and turned into her original form. She was vomiting comfortably in the blue spring. Bubbles. Sure enough, enjoyment is more suitable for me. Jinli thought comfortably. She also separated a trace of consciousness to observe Li Huiyu. Somewhat disappointed that there were no special circumstances. Li Huiyu is indeed cooking seriously, just like all the loving elders in this world. Jinli yawned boredly, spit out a transparent bubble, and continued to close his eyes to rest. Time flies. Li Huiyu pushed open the door and called Jinli to eat. "You can't run scripts, so be careful not to spoil your eyes." Jinli smiled a little embarrassedly, put down the script, and followed her to the restaurant. Jinli was a little uncomfortable with the Japanese dining habits. She used a trick again, pretending to be kneeling and eating with Li Huiyu. Li Huiyu also prepared a small bottle of sake. "This wine is delicious, come and try it." Jinli doesn't like to drink, but looking at Li Huiyu's eyes, she took it with a smile and took a sip, It's delicious. The rice is fragrant, the dishes are delicious, and the wine is more mellow. Li Huiyu kept persuading her to drink more and eat more. Jin Li, like other young girls who came to Li Huiyu's house for the first time, changed from being wary at the beginning to letting go, and was grateful to Li Huiyu. "Drink, I can't drink any more," she muttered softly, and when Li Huiyu poured her a glass of wine again, she fell down on the table with a bang. Unconscious. Li Huiyu's hand holding the wine glass froze in mid-air. The smile on her face also seemed to have been pressed the pause button, and it froze there, looking a little weird. Jin Li, she called her name softly. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 539. Naturally, it was impossible for a drunk Jin Li to respond to her. Li Huiyu was very cautious. She slowly put down the wine glass in her hand, moved closer, and called her again, "Jin Li." Jin Li didn't move or speak. Li Huiyu stared at the fair and flawless skin on her neck, with longing in his eyes. She swallowed her saliva, and said in a low voice, "This child, you are drunk after only drinking so much. You really don't know how to drink. I'll take you to bed and lie down." As she spoke, she stood up and helped Jin Li up. She was born slim and slender, but she looked quite strong. Holding Jin Li, a girl who was taller than him, didn't feel any effort at all. Jin Li was put in the guest room by her, and Li Huiyu dragged her coat and shoes off for her, and even wiped her face with a warm towel. There was nothing abnormal in the whole process, and he looked like a very caring elder. Jin Li watched with his consciousness, and said to himself, "If this goes on, I will suspect that my feelings are wrong." Li Huiyu covered her with the quilt, stood by the window and looked at the girl's peaceful sleeping face with gentle eyes. Just looking at it, her expression changed. Gentleness becomes greed, love becomes madness. "Jin Li, Jin Li," she called the name softly, knelt down, stretched out her hand, and slowly approached Jin Li. Did not really touch her, only separated by air. Tracing her outline. What beautiful facial features, what beautiful skin. She stared at the woman on the bed obsessively, as if caught in her own imagination. "You are the most beautiful girl I have ever seen." Li Huiyu withdrew her hand and touched her face. On this face, the facial features are exquisite, the skin is smooth and full of elasticity. The inside has already begun to decay. If I can get your beautiful youth, just a little bit, I can be more dazzling." Li Huiyu giggled, and the laughter echoed in the room, which was extremely weird. She looked at Jin Li again. "You won't blame me, right? I only want a trace of your beauty and youth, and no one will be able to discover it. I'll give you so many scripts, enough for your career to take off. Other women, pay youth and body, going to accompany those disgusting men, may not be able to get so many opportunities. You don't lose, I don't owe you, I don't owe you." She muttered, not knowing if she was telling Jin Li or trying to convince herself. A green light slowly appeared in her hand, and she slowly reached out to Jin Li. The woman on the bed still had her eyes closed tightly, as if she had fallen into a sweet dream. But when Li Huiyu's hand was about to touch her, something blocked it. It was blocked by something invisible but real. Li Huiyu was taken aback. She reached out her hand again in disbelief, trying to get close to Jin Li, but she still couldn't do it. "What's going on here?" Yelling, she cried out angrily. The green light at the fingertips fell off her hand, turning into a trembling green snake, feeling the master's anger, trembling. "Why are you angry with these poor servants?" A sigh sounded from Li Huiyu's ear. As if she had seen a ghost, she looked at the woman lying on the bed in horror. Under her gaze, Jin Li slowly opened his eyes. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 540. Li Huiyu stared at her. You, how could you? How can you wake up, is it? Jin Li took her lead. Li Huiyu thought of the invisible barrier just now, and the shivering look of Yan Ling. Her face became ugly and frightened. Who are you? Jin Li was a little surprised. Are you asking directly? I thought you would pretend to be with me for a while. Li Huiyu took a deep breath to calm down her expression. Sure enough, he can be regarded as a person who has seen all kinds of big scenes, and his psychological quality is better than ordinary people. She said, what's the use of being stupid? I've added spiced wine and spirits, but you can't help it? Is there any point in denying it? Jin Li got up from the bed and stood up. It's pointless, but it's a waste of time. She looked down at Li Huiyu, who was kneeling on the ground. So, now, are you going to say something? Li Huiyu said calmly, I have nothing to say. Jin Li looked at her. Is there nothing to say? Including your face favored by time, including your more and more beautiful appearance over the years. Aren't you afraid that I will call the police? It's useless, Li Huiyu said with a smile. It's useless. My resume is very clean, and no one can find any problems. She seemed a little fearless. Jin Li rested her chin with her hand, looking a little embarrassed. That's a problem. Jin Li Huiyu looked up at her. You're not an ordinary person, are you? Jin Li snorted softly. Of course not. Li Huiyu said with a smile, today's incident was just a misunderstanding. I promise, I won't dare to have any bad feelings towards you in the future. I can also use all my resources and abilities to pave the way for you in the entertainment industry. Jin Li looked at her. Li Huiyu said, it's a good thing for you, you just have to act like nothing happened. Besides, I didn't do anything, did I? Jin Li sneered, isn't it nothing to steal someone else's beauty and youth? It was not surprising that Li Huiyu said this to her. Since the other party could come to her house to test her, he must have already known everything he should know. She said softly, since you have investigated me, you must know that I only took a little bit of them. No one knows, they can't see it themselves, and it won't have any effect on their bodies. And what they got, but it may be an opportunity that has been hard for several years. Ah! Jin Li laughed disdainfully, put away your deceitful nonsense. You won't be able to see this kind of method in the short term, but what about when you get older? Those in the circle are ridiculed by the media, their flowering period is too short, and their appearance collapses. Don't you know the real reason for the quick beauty? Speaking of this, she was very angry. Beauty is the most precious wealth of every young lady. Li Huiyu, you keep saying that they are not at a disadvantage, so why do you do these things secretly? Li Huiyu's face froze. Jin Li sneered, do you dare to tell people directly, let them make their own decisions, would you like to exchange with you? Li Huiyu didn't dare. Jin Li sneered, you don't dare, because you know that no one is willing to trade a bit of their beauty for a role in a script that might not be popular. Li Huiyu, what you said is just to comfort yourself, to avoid self-deception with uneasy conscience. 4 more, see you in the afternoon. Begging for a monthly ticket. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 541. Li Huiyu's face turned pale. She forced herself to be calm. Jin Li, there is no grievance or enmity between you and me, why are you being so aggressive? Jin Li snorted, no injustice or enmity. She took a step forward and looked down at Li Huiyu. For a moment, Li Huiyu felt a little embarrassed in his heart. She felt that Jin Li looked at her, not as if she was looking at an equal human being, but as if a god was looking down on the ants. Li Huiyu, you have no grievances with me, so tell me, why am I here today? Jin Li asked lightly, if I were really just an ordinary person, would I still be standing here and chatting with you? Would I sleep here and have a sweet dream, and I'd be home tomorrow? My assistant would ask me why I look so bad. I don't have any doubts, I just think it's because of being drunk. Jinli's cold voice echoed in the room, and you, at that time, must have already succeeded, and admired your beauty in front of the mirror, right? Li Huiyu opened his mouth. Just as he was about to defend himself, Jinli asked again, also, when I was filming in the scenic spot, didn't you ever doubt the two servant spirits who disappeared? Li Huiyu's face turned pale. Of course she suspected it. At that time, the three servant spirits suddenly lost track of her, and she was worried about it for a long time. However, she has always been considerate in her work, and her connection with Yongling has long been cleared away. It is impossible for ordinary people to find her based on Yongling. Afterwards, everything was calm and nothing happened, and she gradually felt relieved. Who knows? That time, it was you. Li Huiyu's eyes widened. So, since so long ago, has she revealed her whereabouts? Jinli didn't say a word, but acquiesced. There is no need to inform Li Huiyu of Yinqian's existence. I'm telling you this, just to tell you that we are not without grievances and enmities. If I hadn't been so good, I would have been bullied by you several times. Jinli knelt down and looked at Li Huiyu, who was kneeling on the ground. She stared at the other party's beautiful face with a look of disgust. I have always liked beautiful beauties, but you are the only one who disgusts me. Jinli brushed Li Huiyu's face across the air. This face is made up of countless other people's beauty and youth. Li Huiyu, when you look in the mirror, don't you feel strange? Don't you feel guilty? Following her movements, Li Huiyu felt a chill on her face, as if something had been stripped from her body. She saw many white light spots scattered from her body, some disappeared into the air, and the rest flew in all directions. That is someone else's youth and beauty. If the days were shorter, Jinli could let them return to their master. And the ones that have been around for a long time have already been polluted by Li Huiyu, and they can never return to the original owner. Li Huiyu realized something. She looked down, trembling, at herself. Her hands, her body, are drying up at a speed visible to the naked eye. Skin loses moisture, loses elasticity, and loses radiance. This is a real body that belongs to a 60-year-old lady. No. No. No, she remembered, stumbled up from the ground, turned on the light, and ran to the mirror.